Hello, hello, hello again, all you listeners. Thank you so much for stopping by to Sound Pollution this week. I hope you are doing well. I want to take another second just to quickly apologize about not having an episode last week. I was dealing with a family emergency. It seems to sort of be settling down now, so we're back to normal. But thank you so much for your patience. This week, I got to interview the talented Kayla Griffen, a country singer-songwriter from Indiana. We are going to be discussing how her father got her interested in music, her inspirations, songwriting process, staying true to yourself, and the stories behind two of her tracks. And of course, we are going to top it off with a little advice. Please make sure you click those links below and show this artist some love. Here we go.
So I have to tell you, before we get into the major interview, I always Google everybody. I'm annoying.
No, you're fine.
And I really hope that this was you and I'm not. I think it was you. I found an interview from you at 9 years old in like 2004 singing the national anthem. Was that you?
Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you sang in front of a huge group of people?
Yeah. Well, that was like the biggest crowd when I was 9, I would say. But actually, like, I started out singing when I was about, I'd say more like 3 with my dad in gospel at churches and events and stuff. So then I had the opportunity to sing the anthem at the Madison Regatta. And a person from the Pacers heard me at the Madison Regatta and said to my mom, would she be able to come and sing the anthem for a Pacers game? So I think there was about 20,000 people there that day.
Oh my God. And you were just like you were itty bitty.
Yeah, like my family was way up in the nosebleeds and they were like, you look like a little bitty ant out there in the middle of that, because they were just so far up. So that's wild.
Did it scare the crap out of you? Like, did you piss yourself a little bit?
No, I don't think I did. I gulped. I remember I gulped a little bit because I had a ton of water before I went out there because I had the nerves, and I was like, I need more water. And I remember I get right before that free note and I gulped real loud. You can hear it on the recording, but I think I was just excited and nervous because the crowd was just had so much energy, and I'd never been to an NBA game before, so I was like, whoa. It was cool.
Yeah, that is so cool. So, everybody, I am speaking to Kayla Griffen, and we just discussed one of the first time she sang in front of, like, a mega audience. So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
I grew up in Austin, Indiana. Went to school there my whole life. Graduated with, I want to say, roughly, like, 84 people. And, been playing music and singing my whole life. Started out with my dad in the gospel scene at churches and events with benefits and just pretty much anything and everything locally. And then whenever I was in middle school, I started venturing out and writing my own music and went more country.
So you started singing as a little girl, because we just discussed you being itty bitty. Was it your father that got you into music in general, or was it just something that you always kind of felt like you needed to do?
Well, I really give credit to my dad for that because, I mean, he played music before I was even born and said that every night before him and my mom went to bed, whenever I was in the womb, he would play the guitar and sing to her. So,
Aww.
Yeah, it's a neat little story.
Hey everyone, there's a new season of Sound Pollution coming your way. I know it's been a really rough 18 months and we are not out of the dark yet, but I'm going to keep bringing you new independent artists, their music, and their stories, as well as some updates from fabulous musicians that have been here before. I will be introducing you to the occasional guest co-host this fall as well. Will I find a permanent partner for the show? If you're interested in being a guest musician on Sound Pollution or want to co-host an episode, shoot me a message at soundpollutionpodcast.com or soundpollutionpodcast@gmail.com. Be love and make some noise.
But what got you interested specifically? I mean, besides, your dad and singing and playing with your dad, was there something specifically for you that made you be like, this is what I have to do?
I think it was mainly just the joy that music brought me and the joy that I seen it bring to other people. Especially now that I've expressed myself through my own writing and my own sound, I feel like it tells like a story, like a real life situation story, and it can be relatable, not for everyone. It's not for everyone, but certain people can say, hey, I've been there and I can relate to that, and then they enjoy it.
When did you start writing on your own?
I was about 12 when I wrote one of my first songs. It was kind of I want to relate it to like a goofy, not goofy, but more like a sentimental, corny Hannah Montana song.
We need to stop aging you. I was like, in 2004, you're like Hannah Montana.
It was like, yeah. I'm like, I want to be like Billy Ray Cyrus and Miley Cyrus. And then I had my dad come in my room with me, and we wrote this little song. I try to remember what it was. I have it written down. I think it was called like Goodbye to Yesterday. It was a song about losing someone that you love.
And you wrote that at 12?
Yeah.
When did you start performing your own music?
I'd say it took me a while to actually build the confidence to start singing things that I had written. Because it's kind of scary. You never really, I mean, everybody says, well, be yourself, express yourself, but it's scary to in the world we live in. So I think I was 19. It was after I graduated, and I'd been writing throughout high school on and off. Mainly my senior year was when it hit, because I was like my first heartbreak, and I was like, okay, I wrote a song in like 10 minutes about a girl in particular that was supposed to be my best friend that ran off with who I thought was my boyfriend at the time, but apparently we weren't even really dating. We were just friends.
Yeah, not much changes after high school, does it?
No.
Who are your musical influences?
Oh, my main musical influence is Miranda Lambert.
Love her so
She's
much.
my girl.
Her song Tin Man, after I had a really shitty breakup like 3 years ago, made me write a really gut-wrenching song. Like, I don't know what it is about her. Like, I want to be your friend. I really just want to be your friend. I think we could hang out and it would be fine.
I feel the same way. I feel like she's so laid back and chill, and she's had so many things happen to her. Like a big breakup with a major country artist with Blake Shelton, And it's like, how does she hold her head so high and keep being who she is? And it's just like, she's just inspiring in all ways, and her songs tug your heartstrings.
Is there any older country artists that speak to you?
I have like a list of older country artists, but to sum it up, I'd say like Johnny Cash.
That is the perfect answer. But that's just...
I think it's just because like he literally came from this gospel background originally.
So you kind of related with that because you did as well.
Yeah, and like his mom seemed to be very, spiritual, and my mom is as well. And then it's like he started writing, like when he wrote Folsom Prison Blues, excuse me, like it was more of a realistic song, not so much spiritual. And I started, like, whenever I started writing, I started venturing out and like discovering like who I am and like what I wanted to write about. Like I wanted to write about things I've been through too.
And I admired him because he wasn't afraid to talk about the underdog.
Yeah.
Like, and that was really, really gutsy at the time.
Yeah.
He was a cool dude.
Absolutely.
He came from the country. I'm not familiar with Indiana, so you're gonna have to help.
Well,
I've been across the like 3 times to go to the boat, and I was like, yep, nothing here.
I mean, honestly, I feel like there's nothing to do in Indiana, not as a whole. Like, if you go to Indianapolis and other places, there's going to be things for you to do. But right here in little old Austin and Scottsburg, Indiana, you're not really going to find much. You drive on down the road a little bit to Jackson County and you got cornfields everywhere. Out by my house, like, there's cornfields everywhere. I mean, I wouldn't say like, hey, I didn't like grow up on a farm and, milk cows all day long like everybody thinks. But I think that when you write country music, it doesn't always necessarily mean that you got to live on the farm and do those routines every day. It's about the music.
It's storytelling. Do you find that writing music all music is storytelling in a way, but country and folk and Americana especially are really, really focused on the storytelling aspect of the lyrics. Do you find that comes easy to you, or is that the harder part for you?
Everybody's been through a lot in their life. Everybody has a story to tell. But when it comes to me as being a songwriter, I didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I think I'm going to start writing songs and telling stories and I'm going to be a country singer. I think it just kind of came naturally for me. And the writing part, when it comes to the storytelling, it's easy for me because of the situations I've been through and what I've been in. And the only way for me to feel better about what I've been through was to write it in poetry and to just get it out there in that music form. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I feel better now.
It's very therapeutic. Has it helped you get through those hard moments?
Absolutely. I actually had talked to a therapist, and she told me that writing for anybody, not just for a songwriter, is one of the best medicines that you can do for your mind.
Yeah, it is good for you. And I think I hear a little bit of that in the song "Hope Heaven Has a Radio." Why don't you tell us about that song?
So that one was one of them that came pretty easy to me. I lost one of my good friends, and he was pretty much like the life of the party, like I said in one of the lyrics. His partying was a little bit deeper than what we had seen, though. So we didn't know that he was struggling with other things.
Right.
Until it kind of started surfacing. And then by that point, it was too late. So I received a phone call that he was found on the bathroom floor and that he was getting transferred to Norton's on Easter Day. And he passed away that day. He had a 4-month-old baby, and he was going to marry my friend, and she was also my cousin too. Is my cousin. But he just had a whole life ahead of him. He was only 25 years old. It was just a tough situation. I thought, well, I was sitting on the back porch one day, and I just started looking up at the sky, and it was really pretty outside. And I work at the radio station, so I just gotten off work. And I remember sitting there, and for like 5 minutes, I just kept saying, Hope Heaven Has a Radio. Hope Heaven Has a Radio. And I'm like, then I start Googling because I get weird, and I'm like, I'm not stealing this from anyone. So
oh my gosh,
Google.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one. I'm like,
yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, I'd seen Hope Heaven Has a Honky Tonk and Hope Heaven Has a Smoking section. And I was like, okay, well, Hope Heaven Has a Radio's clear.
You're good.
Yeah, but and then I just sat back there and it just started coming to my mind, and I just felt like it literally took me like no time, maybe 5-10 minutes, and I just typed it out on my notes on my phone, and I'm like, then I get super picky because once I write out this, like, these lyrics, then I'm like, okay, this doesn't belong here, this belongs here, this doesn't belong here, this goes here. And then I kind of do that like editing thing, and then I was like, all right, I'm done. And then I picked up the guitar, put the music to it, and played it for my mom because that's usually what I do. I go to her and say, hey, tell me what you think. And then and then I had the opportunity to record it with James Cook and Kent Slutcher, who play for Luke Bryan.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at you go. I really, really liked that song. I think we all knew somebody like that, and I'm so sorry that you lost somebody that way. It's an awful way to lose somebody.
Sometimes I don't like coming back to these old town roads. It reminds me of you and the places we used to go. With every song playing on the radio, I don't think there was a song that you didn't know, that you didn't know. We were burning up the town, just running wild and free, talking about all the things we wanted to see and who we wanted to be. I never thought then that you'd be where you are right now. I hope you're somewhere in the clouds, singing along to your favorite songs real loud. I'll never understand why you had to go. I know you can't hear me. I can only hope there's a truck and a dirt road, your hands hanging out the window. I hope heaven has a radio. You always had a plan and I followed whatever you did. We were underage, drinking, staying up way past 10. I remember the time when we ran from the cops. It didn't take long until we got caught. So glad we did. You were the life of the party. Wish we could go back to when we were 18 and stay 18. 'Cause I never thought then that you'd be where you are right now. I hope you're somewhere in the clouds, singing along to your favorite songs real loud. I'll never understand why you had to go. I know you can't hear me. I can only hope there's a truck and a dirt road, your hands hanging out the window. I hope heaven has a radio. I never thought then that you'd be where you are right now. I hope you're somewhere in the clouds, singing along to your favorite songs real loud. I'll never understand why you had to go. I know you can't hear me, but I can only hope there's a truck and a dirt road, your hands hanging out the window. I hope heaven has a radio. I hope heaven has a radio. Sometimes I don't like coming back to these old town roads.
Is that kind of what your songwriting process is like? Like you feel something, you're like, I need to get it out, then you get like the poetry down and then it's the guitar, or is it different every time?
I'd say it's more different every time. It's a hard thing to explain. It's like sometimes it can be like a brief thing that just comes to me and I'm like, all right, I got to get this out right now. I got to put it down in lyric form and I got to get music to it. And then other things, it's just like thinking, all right, well, what do I do next? Because I have like this really good line or title, but I don't know what else to do. And then it kind of takes like a longer process. So
How long have you been playing guitar? For as long as
since
you've
I
been...
was about 5.
So, I saw that eye roll. You were like, put it down.
Well, it hurt my fingers so bad. My dad had bought me a guitar when I was real little, like 2 or 3, and I would just walk all over it. I thought it was like a beam, like a balance beam.
Yeah, you didn't know.
And then he would try to teach me, and I remember him pressing my fingers against it, and my dad never hurt me. But
Right.
my fingers were hurting so bad, and I was like, I hate this. This
It's
is torture.
It's not pleasant.
No. And I'm like, I don't like this at all. And then I was about 8 or 9, and I remember I was watching like Shania Twain on TV, and she was one of our favorites. And then I just started watching more and more different artists, and I seen some of them playing guitar, and I was like, hey, Dad, I think I'm ready to learn to play guitar now. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm so excited that you're finally ready. And he's like, you're going to have to deal with the pain. And then I did. I stuck through it, but it did hurt. It was not a comfortable feeling.
No, I can't. I can play it enough to write. I couldn't play it live because I can't get past it. So I get you. And I've had that stupid string come undone and like slice across your hand. Have you had that one? That's my favorite.
Oh, no, I haven't had that, but
Like,
I'm sure it will happen. But I would mess with those knobs when I was a kid, the tuning, and I would twist them so hard, and my dad would be like, stop doing that, it's going to bust on you, and it's going to hit you in the eyeball. And I remember I was doing it one day, and I said, no, it's not, and it swiped right across my face. It barely missed my eyeball. But I was like, okay, you were right, I'm not doing that again.
You're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Tell me about my last cigarette. Because when I tell you I kind of felt the words in my spirit, I need to know the story.
Okay. All right. Well,
Because no joke, I was like, oh, that motherfucker right there, that guy. Mm-hmm. I met him. I don't like it.
Oh my gosh. Well, so this one's like, it was one of my favorite ones to write because I don't know if you can tell in the song, but I was very angry.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I remember writing it plain as day because the guy that I was dating, actually, I had his information to log in on his Facebook because he said, hey, because one day we were watching Netflix and he was telling me what the password was. And he was like, it's blah, blah, blah. I use it for everything. Well, first of all, don't tell a female that you use that for everything.
Oh, no, because we'll turn into an FBI agent. Oh.
Yeah. And he had went off to college. And I remembered that saying, hey, this is what I use for everything, because something wasn't quite right that night. And I was like, okay, like, there's something going on, and I felt like something, like, in my gut was telling me something wasn't right. So I log in on his Facebook Messenger, and I'm watching this conversation between him and a female. And she's on his way over to his apartment at college. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I just remember my lips quivering, and I actually grabbed an actual cigarette and went outside and was like a freight train. And I was at my grandpa's house because my mom and dad's house didn't have Wi-Fi. So my papa, like, you know, he's an ex-smoker, so he's like, you smell like a cigarette. And I was like, yeah, I'm really peed off right now, and I need to get my feelings out. So I remember that was a song I wrote in like 5-10 minutes too, because I remember looking at that cigarette and I was like, putting you out like a bad habit, last cigarette, putting it out, done. And then I just started coming up with all kinds of different things that had happened. And I'm like, okay, I just did this because I'm angry, so I don't show my angry side and get called crazy. So I made it into a song.
till my hands gave out. You're doing whatever you wanna, whenever you wanna. No, you'll be okay as long as you got E&J and you're smoking marijuana. Is this really what you wanted? Now I'm gone like the wind. You think I'll be back again? Since you're always right, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Halfway to Texas with my Ray-Bans on. Bye-bye, that's what you heard. Can't hear all the hurt over Leonard Skinner. You're gonna talk the walk, then you best stand on it. Putting out the flame like it's my last cigarette. Didn't realize you had it when you had it. I'm on fire, leaving that mattress to ashes. Ain't my fault, stupid boy. You want something new, I'm an old toy. Never tell me the truth, I already know. Went through all your drawers, your whole cell phone. Wanna go out and play, you might as well go. I won't be there when you come home. I ain't putting on a show. Now I'm gone like the wind. You think I'll be back again? Since you're always right, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Halfway to Texas with a mini skirt on. Bye-bye, that's what you heard. Can't hear all the hurt over Leonard Skinner. You're gonna talk the walk, then you best stand on it. Putting out the flame like it's my last cigarette. Now I wore your heart like a wedding ring. Somewhere down the highway I spread my wings. And I truly will admit I ain't even mad about it. You never asked me to marry you, and I'm so glad you did. Now I'm gone like the wind. Think I'll be back again? Since you're always right, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Way down in Texas with my high heels on. Bye-bye, that's what you heard. Can't hear all the hurt over Leonard Skinner. You're gonna talk the walk, then you best stand on it. Putting out the flame like it's my last cigarette. My last cigarette. You're gonna talk the walk, then you best stand on it. I'll be putting out the flame like it's my last cigarette.
Do you prefer songwriting or performing more?
Ooh, that's a tough one. So I really enjoy performing, especially whenever you receive like energy back. So like a few queued up shows that I've gotten to do in Louisville, like I got to open up for Gabby Barrett last year before the pandemic. During the pandemic, I got to open up for Jimmy Allen. Recently, a few weeks ago, I got to open up for Tenille Arts. She's on tour with Lady Antebellum right now. So, I mean, it's been like, when you're at those shows and I've got like a great support system and fan base from Scott County as a whole, they usually show up for those shows and I feel like I can just get loose and just put it out there. Some shows aren't like that necessarily. They're more laid back and, you know, a song request and, you know, here and there. Those are more shows where I like play a little bit more of songs I've written because I'm like, well, you know, I've got time to put a little bit more out there and get feedback on them. But I kind of like writing more, I would say, just because it's the storytelling for me and getting feelings out there on that piece of paper or in the notes on my phone and in a music form.
Do you have any shows coming up?
Right now, I really only just have, I know that there's a benefit on October 10th in Austin for a dear friend of mine who has been in the hospital. She had a stroke.
Oh, no.
Unexpectedly. So we're going to be doing that on October 10th at the Austin VFW for her. There is going to be a show at the Parlor in New Albany in December, and I'll be announcing that date as soon as we get everything situated. And then next year, all through the year from basically January to December, I'll be booked in the surrounding areas, but mainly all over Indiana as a whole and maybe a few in Louisville, and a few in Cincinnati. So,
Do you have any social media you want to shout out real quick?
yes, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook music pages I have are all at Kayla Griffen, and it's KaylaGriffen, not IN. A lot of people put in an IN, but mine is with an EN.
And final question, and this is the hard one. What advice would you give somebody who wants to get into music?
The advice I would give would be to stay true to yourself. Don't let anybody use, abuse, and take advantage of you or take you for granted. Know where you are standing with people that are in your circle, that you give credit where it's due.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let anybody take advantage of your work and the things you create and your talent. It's very important that you express who you are, and I know it's hard. I struggle with, oh my gosh, people say this and that and they don't like me, but there's always going to be someone that don't like you. You can't please everybody, and get that out of your head and just get it out there. Tell us the story.
Yeah, we need more authentic musicians.
Absolutely.
Which is why I love independent musicians so much, because they're a little more free to say and do, they're not so encumbered by that major label.
Yeah, like you don't have to be someone you're not. Not every label I would say would be like that necessarily, but you're not taken for, like I'm really not into like somebody came up to me and was like, how much money are you making? And I said, is that a necessary question?
I'd have been like, and how much money are you making?
Yeah. And it's like some people think that you really like, just because you have music that you're putting out there, that you're going to be a millionaire and a celebrity and a famous artist. And it's not all about that. If you are really in it for the music, I mean, yeah, you got to pay your bills.
Of course.
But at the same time, you've got to be passionate about what you're doing and you got to be happy about it. And some people don't understand that. So if you're an independent artist wanting to express yourself through the creativity of music, I just say, do you, and forget the people that are not in your circle that support you. Just focus on you.
Yeah, because haters gonna hate. I think I say that about every other episode.
Haters are.
They're just going to. They're just there. And usually it's because they're jealous.
I mean, yeah, like I literally have had to like just block my mind from people that have had negative responses to me, or even block on social media, because I am like, okay, I have to have a clear mindset for what I'm doing, and what you're saying and what you're posting and what you're doing is a distraction to me, and that's okay. If you need to block people that don't support you, block them.
Girl, I block family. I don't care. I'll burn a bridge.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started. I do too.
Literally working on lyrics for that. So TMT.
Yeah, it's so funny because if you start doing, like the cool opportunities that I got to do last year, like, yeah, that's super great.
Yes.
It was an honor to be able to do those. But you notice some people that literally haven't talked to you in years when you're on, like, they don't talk to you whenever you're like you're in your valley, but you start climbing on this mountain and you're not even at the top of it yet, but then they start coming out of the woodwork and you're like getting messages and phone calls and I'm like, who is this?
Or you get these people that you thought were your people that have nothing but horrible things to say.
Absolutely.
You're like, wait a minute. My favorite thing, and I heard it with music, and it's true. I never made it, but I hear it with this podcast. I hear, nothing's ever going to come of it. Well, no, nothing will ever come of it if I sit on my ass and I don't try.
Exactly. And you listen to the negativity.
Right. No, I've got things to do.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And I've learned more of that in literally the 2 years of my life. I've learned so much more than I have in the 24 other years.
Do you have anything else that you would like my listeners to know about you?
No, just to keep listening to your podcast, and it's
Aw.
been really nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
All right, I want to take this opportunity to thank Miss Kayla Griffen again for being on the show. I appreciate you. I hope that you know that you are welcome to come back at any time. I am also still very much considering a co-host, so if you're interested, please shoot me an email at soundpollutionpodcast@gmail.com or PM me on any of Sound Pollution's many social media pages. Or you can contact me at the website, which is soundpollutionpodcast.com. Get out there, be love, make some noise. See you next week.